Hello, I'm TAP-G.
And I'm SurferClock.
And welcome to What's the Attraction?
Where our work is your vacation. And welcome aboard the WTACC 1701, folks. This beauty will allow us to become the very first podcast to ever transmit from space.
I hate to break it to you, sirs, but our NASA astronauts already beat us to that by about 8 years or so.
Copy that, Reese. Okay, the first theme park broadcast to broadcast from space.
Remind me again why we're strapped to countless thousands of tons of rocket fuel?
Look, the ISTC is counting on us to deliver a review on one of their flagship training simulators, and if we can make it to Mars with just their training under our belts, we could potentially protect the future of mankind. I'd say no pressure, but I've only now realized the heftiness of this mission.
Great! All of humanity's counting on us. I gotta pee.
Wait, where are you going?
I'm running to the bathroom.
Fine, I'll get us started. Now, over at Epcot, they've always been looking to the future, especially in Future World, the front section of the park. No attraction encompassed all of the future quite like Horizons. In a future RIP segment, we'll analyze it in detail, but it was an Omnimover-style ride that showed a vision of the future and allowed guests to choose from one of 3 different endings. It operated from 1983 to 1999. 4 years later, folks got a taste of the next generation of future prediction and thrill ride simulation. Today, we're reviewing Mission Space. Destiny. And no, this isn't a cover. The theme song of this ride, Destiny, produced by Cliff Masterson and sung by Louise Warren, is surprisingly mellow and slow considering you usually hear it after the ride.
I'm back! What'd I miss?
Not too much, we just introduced the ride.
Right. So the story goes that riders are trainees. You know, theme parks do a lot of training their guests. For the International Space Training Center, or the ISTC. The setting is in 2036, a time that is creeping ever closer, and said riders are set to undergo a training simulation in the X-2 Deep Space Shuttle. After being arranged into a group of 4, you are introduced to your training by Capcom, played by actor Gary Sinise, who you may recognize as having done this space thing a few times over.
Come in, WTACC. This is Tower Girl from Mission Control.
Go ahead, Tower Girl.
Are all the supplies on board? Have you run the safety checks?
Will do momentarily. All supplies are on board.
10-4, let me know when you're ready.
Oh, we almost forgot to mention the 2 ride versions.
Oh yeah, that's important. Okay folks, Mission Space used to offer just one experience, what's now known as the more intense version. In the video, you learn that your team has been chosen to experience the first mission to Mars. Your 4-person team is given specific designations as Navigator, Pilot, Commander, and Engineer, and you're given pre-flight instructions before boarding. Now, back to the 2 version thing, as SurferClock will explain while I go and pee.
Again? Okay, the ride consists of a multi-armed centrifuge that spins riders around to the side. This gives you the sensation that you're being thrust rather quickly into space. For several years, the ride operated with only the spinning centrifuges. Many folks were made at least slightly ill by the intense motions of the ride. 2 folks actually ended up dying after the ride due to pre-existing medical conditions. Whether the changes that were made were due to the deaths, or simply because then-CEO Michael Eisner grew violently ill after each ride he took on the ride, is anyone's guess. But in 2006, 2 of the 4 centrifuges were reprogrammed to only pitch and pivot, not at all spinning. When you get to the entrance of the ride, you are now asked if you want to go on the orange team, more intense training, or the green team, less intense training. We'll be reviewing both in the episode, as well as the line and the post-ride experience.
I'm back. Oh.
Jeez, what'd you drink before we got on?
Just water. I'm a little nervous.
We'll be fine, TAP-G. I think we're about ready to discuss, right?
Oh, how about some cool facts? The gravity wheel in the largest portion of the line holds a tribute to Horizons in its middle. The old logo. Also, in part of the line, look up to the lunar rover. It's actually on loan from the Smithsonian Museum, and it's the only lunar rover that's not on the moon. Oh, and numerous little hidden Mickeys abound. Starting with the one
you're stalling. It's discussion time, dude. Come on, TAP-G.
Oh, one more thing.
Only if it's important.
Oh, it is. Mission Space also boasts a rather robust post-ride experience known as the Advanced Training Lab, an ingenious end to an exhilarating experience. It also serves as a much better chicken exit than most rides I have been on. It could have also been its own intervention section. Experiences range from Space Base, a young children's play area, to the frenetic Space Race, a game where up to 56, 56 people can play. Other experiences include the video postcard machine and a single-player Mars exploration game.
Discuss your rating time, now!
What is your rush, dude?
Dude, every 2 minutes we sit here, we're burning through $458.42 worth of rocket fuel. We can't exactly stop for rocket fuel at Milliways.
Alright then. What's your review on this attraction?
I love this ride. Just to put that out there, this is one that I have done multiple times within a single sitting. Mm-hmm. By the way, I don't recommend doing that because I felt my heart palpitating.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't have been so good for the ticker.
It actually, every time you ride on it, it actually multiplies the stress on your body. So, riding this more than maybe twice or even 3 times in a row, not recommended by me.
Even if you're relatively in a decent condition.
Yeah, because the last time I did that, I was in really good health. About 70 pounds ago. But yeah, I love just that initial takeoff. I could ride just for that alone.
Oh yeah.
It's, and I'm talking about the Orange Team mission where you feel the thrust of space against your body. It's like, ah! You know, I pull about 700 pounds, going on this ride.
You folks at home do the math.
Yes. But yeah, every time I ride on the Orange Team, I always really enjoy it. I'm sure there's at least several reasons for this.
Yeah. For me, the way I look at it is it's a very fulfilling attraction. There's an adventure, you have an objective, there's interactivity. So by the time you're done, you feel like you have accomplished something, even if all it was a simulator that you go to Mars.
Yeah, and everyone on the team plays an active role.
That interactivity is a huge part of it. And it even keeps going, even if not everyone presses their buttons like they're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, it automatically engages the controls.
Who out there just sits in their console and just starts flicking the random buttons and the switches while they're waiting for the thing to take off?
Another beautiful touch.
Right?
Now, some of them do make, like, noises. Like, I know one of the buttons kind of goes... And just... There is just something so cool about, like, sitting there and just fiddling with switches.
You're like a kid again. You feel like you're being active in this role again, that you're being an astronaut, and you're like, time to do important spacey stuff.
Yeah, but actually, it's funny, because I recently did Green Team again, because I haven't done it in such a long time.
And it was my first time.
I'm surprised at how very similar the two experiences are.
Yeah, there was a little bit of G-force, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it was when we were on the Orange Team.
Now, I don't know how they managed to create this without you spinning.
You know, it's hard to say. I don't know.
It's still a pretty decent ride, even if it is less intense.
It could be a psychological effect, like nothing's actually happening, but you're I video and you're feeling the takeoff.
I think it's like maybe just the rumble of it.
That too.
It could. I don't know how to explain it.
It's probably a bunch of different things.
Yeah, but I actually kind of have to give Orange Team and Green Team the exact same score.
Yeah.
Because even if Green Team is a little less intense, the fact that the opportunity is there is really the best thing. Mm-hmm. So for Orange and Green Team experiences, for the ride itself, I gave them both a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5? I love the attraction too. I probably can't ride it as many times as you do, or even... But I do have to give it a 3.5 out of 5. My only complaints are, it does feel a little short.
Maybe, but, you know, you get 3 months of that cut out by hypersleep.
Yeah, and I think there could have been a few more things done with that, but, you know, maybe if it was a little bit longer, it's probably engineered just the perfect length so no one gets sick. I do like the G-forces, but the cold air. Every time I go in and I'm waiting for the thing to take off, you get that cold air just blasting in your face, and for me, that's really obnoxious.
That is actually to help keep you from getting sick.
Really?
Not only that, but it also, like, it gets, like, the sweat kind of activated on your body, and it helps to cool you down. Because I don't know how much of the line is outside. There is quite a bit of queue inside, but I know their extended queue is still, like, outside.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of helps you to cool down, maybe helps keep some of the...
And then probably the other minor part is, really, 2036? I got nothing wrong with the date, but what are they going to do when 2036 rolls around?
Who knows if the ride's going to be around that long?
I hope it does. I mean, every time we go there, there's always like a 20-minute wait max for Orange Team.
I'm surprised at how short the waits have become. It used to be a lot more, and I think Test Track has taken most of that.
Yeah, Test Track and Soarin'.
Soarin'. Oh, yeah, Soarin'. Let's talk about that.
So ultimately, yeah, I give this ride a 3.5 out of 5.
Yep. Oh, let's talk about the post-show in the queue as well.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that. Because I feel like this is a really good queue. It really helps to set up the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gives you an idea like you're moving through this museum, like to give you the weight and gravitas of what you're about to embark upon. And, wait, what was that other thing you commented on? The
control booth.
Yeah.
Having the control booth there, even though a lot of the screens like that we see are like fake, the ones, so occasionally you'll see people in there. Sometimes there's a family in there if they give them like a control booth tour.
Yeah.
But the ones on the screens not facing the people, those are actually control booths staffed by cast members.
Very creative use of space and technology.
But those poor cast members getting watched all day long.
Yeah, you know, knock, 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 hello, knock, 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 hello, knock, 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 hello, little kids just knocking on the glass.
When did little kids become Sheldon Cooper?
I wish I knew, but I can just only imagine that they have to go through that fairly often on a daily basis.
I think also worth mentioning is the song Destiny. Now, it's really mellow, it's really smooth, but I think it's a beautiful song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very appropriate for the whole theme of Future World.
And, you know, it's just not catchy enough to be on our top 10 best theme park songs.
Yeah.
You could call it an honorable mention, number 11, maybe. And one last thing I want to touch on. The Advanced Training Lab. This is the coolest post-ride experience ever. Why don't more rides do this?
It kind of reminds me a lot of Spaceship Earth's exit, where they have the neighborhood network with all the interactive games.
Yeah, I think that's definitely like more toward the future, and we'll definitely talk about those when we get around to reviewing Spaceship Earth in its current incarnation.
But yeah, a play area for the kids, that big interactive game, which almost never has anyone playing, and I've often noticed.
But it can house up to 56 people. Disney was thinking really well when they set all that up.
Yes. Oh man, I did.
And you really like that Mars game, right? The single player game.
I'm a gamer, so I do like hopping around on Mars and jetpacking my way across to find all my friends.
What's funny is I've actually never completed that game.
And you're a gamer too.
I know, right?
And of course, the best part, the astronaut ice cream in the gift shop.
You know, that is pretty cool. I do like that a lot.
It's like a giant Lucky Charms marshmallow.
But yet, when you take it into your mouth, it like melts into like, so good.
Not exactly as good as a Dole Whip or a turkey leg, but still awesome.
Definitely.
So altogether, what do we rate this attraction?
Personally, I give it a 4 out of 5. This is one of my favorite things to do at Epcot. I could spend at least about an hour at Mission Space.
Yeah. I have to give it a 3.5 out of 5 as well. It's not a perfect experience, and I do enjoy it every time I go on it. And having the short line is always a bonus, but, you know, it's it doesn't quite hit a home run for me. It's a grand slam.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely one of those. I will like enjoy it every time I go.
Yeah.
So that's a 4 out of 5 from SurferClock and a 3.5 out of 5 from TAP-G.
All right. Before we lift off, Mission Space does have quite a few restrictions, kind of like Universal, and you do well to abide by them. First, to board either orange or green team missions, you must be a minimum of 44 inches or 112 centimeters tall to ride. Guests under 7 must be accompanied by someone at least 14 years of age or at least 54 inches or 137 centimeters tall. The average 6-year-old might not be 44 inches tall, but them's the rules. Now then, let's talk about the orange team. This is an intense motion simulator, and those having any doubts may want to stick to the green team. Disney asks that you bold adventurers be in good health, free from high blood pressure, heart, back, or neck problems, motion sickness, or any other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. You'll be pulling 2.5 Gs, so the bigger you are, the more you'll feel it. Even with all that said, there's still a chance of experiencing motion sickness. Space sickness bags are provided. With the interest of full disclosure, also know that you can be made to feel dizzy, woozy, disoriented, or even left with a headache for the rest of the day. To say you should exercise caution is a bit of an understatement.
Green Team, while less intense, is still a motion simulator in a dark, enclosed space. Serious claustrophobes should opt out of this experience. You'll feel the pitch and yaw, as well as the rumble of the rocket engine. Guests traveling in scooters must be able to transfer into a wheelchair, and from the wheelchair to the ride vehicle itself. Closed captioning is available, and assistive listening devices are compatible here. Expectant mothers should not ride, and rider switch passes are available. Just see a cast member. Service animals are not permitted, so also see a cast member for assistance with that. As mentioned earlier, if you don't wish to ride or are restricted from riding, the Advanced Training Lab serves as your waiting area while the rest of your crew experiences the ride.
As for recommendations, this is a nice alternative sort of experience for thrill junkies and space fans alike. It's a unique experience that I think anyone aged 10 to 60 will get a lot of joy from. Somewhere between maybe 13 to 50 will be optimal for the Orange Team experience. We can't emphasize enough that Orange Team experience is a lot of stress on your body.
Anyone not meeting the requirements, claustrophobes, and much younger and much older folks will want to steer clear. Alright, attraction reviewed. Let's start the pre-flight checks.
Well, folks, in mere minutes, SurferClock and I will be starbound. Up there with the likes of Buzz Lightyear, Major Tom, and Spaceman Spiff.
Alright, safety supplies are in place, the equipment is optimal.
So, let's talk inheritances, guys. To whom does the studio and show go in case of unfortunate incident?
Don't even! We're gonna be fine, right, SurferClock?
Alright, fuel supply. What? Fuel? Insufficient fuel for trip? But how?
Would you look at that? So focused on the review that we don't have the gas to make the trip.
TAP-G, the ISTC was going to honor us with a $100,000 grant upon our return, free space travel for life, and a place in the history books! Not gonna get mad. Not gonna get mad.
You guys are aborting the mission, right?
We have no choice. Come on, let's get out of these spacesuits. You alright, buddy?
Just leave, TAP-G. I'll catch up with you in a second.
Okay. See you on the ground.
Thanks for listening, folks. He's TAP-G, and I'm SurferClock. Thanks for listening to the Still Earthbound What's the Attraction, where our work is your vacation. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground, and keep reaching for the stars.